Welcome back to another episode of The Canon, where we'll be talking about some Black Panther plot details and a little bit of other stuff. First up in the news today, we have Lupita Nyong'o did an interview during Comic-Con in which she revealed some plot details for the upcoming Black Panther movie. She basically described that this movie is Black Panther getting some resistance to his authority as Black Panther of Wakanda. She didn't mention who was threatening his authority, but it's two people, and he gets help from the CIA and Adora Milaje, which is his special forces, secret service group that kind of protects him. So, Sal, what do you think about that plot?
First off, I don't get how actors and actresses give away plot points. Like, if it was me, I would just be like, I don't know what I can tell you. I'm just not going to tell you anything. So, that's bad on her. But good for us, because now we have something to report on.
Right.
It's interesting, and we were talking about it earlier, how we were kind of weirded out, and like, why is the CIA? Like, he just had this whole thing about with Civil War and the government, so it's kind of weird having them help him so soon after. We think it's going to take place right after Civil War. And then in terms of the villains, I think everyone's in agreement that it's probably Eric Killmonger and Ulysses Claw. If it is, that's very interesting to see. I'm very eager to see more of Claw and Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are. So if it is him, that would be great. If not, I'm not that familiar with Black Panther's stories and his villains and whatnot. So I don't know, but you'd have to assume at least one is Killmonger. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see two villains in one movie as opposed to one big villain.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Michael B. Jordan is confirmed to be Eric Killmonger, so we know he's one of the villains. Claw seems to be the no-brainer. But when we talked about the origin story of Killmonger, we know Claw plays a very crucial part into that, in which he was pretty much the one that ruined Eric Killmonger's family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this version, they can always change things up. They can easily take that out, but I think if you're picking someone out of the comics, you're picking them for a reason. Someone is not well known. I think they're going to play to it.
Mm-hmm.
And like we talked about, I think if it's Michael B's character is pretty much using Claw and his resources to get back at Black Panther, and then he's going to double cross Claw, I'm fine with that. Because then we got more of a three-way battle that I was hoping for. But if it's just kind of him and Claw partners, I won't like it as much, because I think having Claw be an enemy in Killmonger's past adds to his layer and his depth as a character. And so it was cool that he had beef with a good guy, and he also had beef with a villain. So where does he really fall?
Yeah.
So I hope they don't remove that out of his story. But, you know, I guess we have to wait and see. You mentioned it. The CIA thing, I don't get. I don't get it. Like, he's the ruler of a different country, and why would they come in and try to help him? Especially first of all, Captain America is with him.
Yeah.
And he's an enemy of the whole everybody, not even the U.S. It's Germany, wherever they were in Civil War. So he's a fugitive. Why is CIA helping him?
Yeah.
Sal, explain it.
I would have to think that if it is Claw, that the government has some sort of special interest into obtaining Claw because he's having some sort of threat with them, or anything that they don't like about him. They're kind of saying the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they might be putting their differences aside with Black Panther. And if Captain America's is Steve Rogers going to be in it, or is that Iron Man?
We don't know.
Didn't someone say? Oh no, that's for Homecoming.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't know yet in terms of Captain America. So he might not even be in it, but still, you have to think that relationship is still strained after Civil War. So Yeah, I don't know why. I would just have to think that they both have, a beef with the villains in this, and that's why they're teaming up for time being, or that's how their relationship is going to get mended, or something like that. So
Yeah, but that brings up another good point, is that if it is right after Civil War, then you have to address the fact that Steve Rogers and his crew is there.
yeah,
So I wanted an origin story, personally. Which Killmonger and all that can fit into, I think. So I'm not a big fan of kind of doing it right after Civil War, because you do got to address that now. And that does bring up the problem of why is the CIA here when Captain America's there. And now we got all these questions. I would rather have the CIA, none of that. I would have rather had it just a Wakanda story, like a straight, we're here in Wakanda, we're only dealing with stuff in Wakanda. But I don't know, seems like they're bringing in a lot of different elements, but it's early. It's really early.
We could be 100% wrong.
Yeah, even though the actress said it, but we think.
Well, I mean, like in terms of how far they're gonna take it and how deep they're gonna take it into the MCU.
Yeah. So hopefully, I trust Ryan Coogler. I think they'll put together something that works for everybody.
Sure.
All right. So next up, Suicide Squad. A little bit of news before the movie comes out. Director David Ayer finally kind of put to bed the rumor that Jason Todd, that this Joker is actually Jason Todd.
Mm-hmm.
So Sal, what did you think about that rumor in general?
I thought it would have been an interesting take on the Joker just because he seems so different from any other iteration we've had. So having him be Jason Todd, they would have had to do it right. It would have given him the motivation to be against Batman. So I don't know. It'd have been, you'd have to get it right. Whatever right is, they'd have to get it right. But yeah. So the rumors were that on the Robin suit there was some sort of rip or tear or something on his right shoulder, but then also on the Joker's first picture there was something on his shoulder too.
Yeah, they look kind of like bullet holes.
Yeah. So
and Joker looked like kind of had scars.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it would just been I don't know, weird. Maybe if it was maybe Jason Todd. Well, I don't know. I really don't even know how they would have done it. This would have had to been the first Joker, I feel like, if it was that iteration. But I think it was just, I think a lot of people, there would have been a lot of backlash from that decision. So I'm kind of glad that they stayed away from that. We still don't know what his origin is in this universe, so could be something even crazier. Could be Dick Grayson. I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah. I was definitely feeling like this is a really dumb rumor. Like I was kind of like everybody else, but I have to admit, recently, within the last month or so, I started kind of not getting on board with it, but I started thinking like they might be right, because just the more and more I see of Joker, I just can't wrap my head around the studio saying, yeah, let's just completely throw this crazy Joker out there, and that's Joker. And especially when you get a veteran Batman, so we're going to see some classic stories. We've seen already a lot of classic Batman elements in BVS, so it's just like, if you got all this rich history, you got the Robin suit, all that. Why just throw a random weird Joker out there? Every time I see him with all these tattoos and just the way Leto's playing it, I'm like, even though I don't think it makes sense, it would have been a really smart way to kind of do your own Joker. Mm-hmm. While saying, yeah, that's not the Joker you're thinking of.
This is why he's so much different.
Right. And that would at least help me accept it a little easier in Suicide Squad. So I started to think, like, man, maybe... it's got to be something. Like you said, we don't know his origin story, so it's not necessarily, this is Joker. Mm-hmm. He said it's not Jason Todd, but you're right, it could be something stupid.
Yeah.
And I need that, honestly, because I can't wrap my head around him as the classic Joker.
Well, they did say there's a reason for every tattoo he has. So you'd have to think that he went through some sort of transformation, obviously physically and psychologically. So I think that history is going to play out in upcoming movies, especially the Batman Solo movie. So, you know, I'm just interested. I think they are going to give Joker finally an origin story, at least in this universe, because they're going so far right or so far left, however you want to think of it, from things that they've done before. And just, you know, so I think they will give him an origin story. I don't know what it would be, but I definitely think something had happened for the Joker to kind of get to this point in Suicide Squad.
I'm still hoping that it's like, I don't know, protection or some from Tattoo Man, and that's where it is. And then at the end of the movie, they all disappear. Like,
it could be
that. I'd be. Thank God, like everybody be so happy.
Like when Bruce got lifted by the bats, we're all like, "Oh, thank God, that was a dream."
Right, that's what I'm hoping, because I don't know. All right, but he's not Jason Todd, so boo-hoo. All right, so moving on. The Overlord over at Marvel, Kevin Feige, was talking about the future of Spider-Man, and they've been the way they talk about it, I almost feel like this contract they have with Marvel is very dependent on how this movie turns out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Marvel and DC to a point, everybody's just like, yeah, in 2020 we're doing this, and they got plans laid out. With this, every time they talk, it's always like, you know, we'll see, maybe, possibly after the first one. And so when they asked him about the future, he was saying that depending on how the first one go, they could possibly do it like a Harry Potter format, where it's Homecoming is going to be Peter Parker's sophomore year, the next one will be his junior year, and then the next one will be his senior year. Mm-hmm. And so they will go year by year like that. And he was like saying, so, but again, he said depending on how this one goes. So, but he said that's the idea they approach Sony with, on how they want to lay it out, and so that seems to be the format. So, Sal, what do you think about Spider-Man going through the years of Spider-Man's adolescence?
I think it's necessary to do something different with Spider-Man, because we've had 2 iterations of him, and not necessarily horrible iterations, depending on who you are, but I like that format. I mean, it could have been just because I liked Harry Potter, but, you know, when you really think about it, that's how you really get connected to a character or multiple characters within a film or within a story, whatever you're talking about. So if they did that, and, you know, it was good, it was a good take on Peter Parker, it was a good take on Spider-Man, then that would only reinforce how good these movies can be. So, I mean, I'm all for it as long as it's done right. And I think it's, you know, I think, like I said, it's a different take on the overall big picture for this character. So it all depends, I think, on the relationship between Marvel and Sony, and going forward from Homecoming, like they said, or like you said. So I like it.
Yeah, I love it. Want more of it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, literally, because there's so many movies that, you know, time jump and do this, and we gotta, you know, expand. Why not be stuck in that world for a little bit? Mm-hmm. Like, you talk about growing up with the Spider-Man TV show, any TV show. You know, he was in high school for like 8 years of my life. Like, so any TV show, South Park is still in 4th grade. Yeah. And so you not only open yourself up to do a lot of stuff in that, but it allows you to grow with the character, because Tom Holland, between movies, he's going to age the same age. But if you make the next movie 5 years after, we feel like with the character, we missed something.
Yeah.
So Tom Holland's going to be his age no matter what, but if you make the movies, no, he's only 1 year older, like with Harry Potter, we see the maturation with them, and we feel like we're growing up with them. We see the different stuff.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man in particularly, I think they realize he's better in high school, so stay in high school. Like, some people saying, like, you do the summer between his junior and sophomore, you can do whatever you wanted and just stay in high school. You could split it up in semesters. You could have like 50 of these movies, like
quarters.
Yeah, like junior year first semester or junior first quarter. you know, worst report
Or
card.
now the next one would be Spider-Man Junior Prom.
Yeah, I know, right? And so it's just like, I love that idea because you keep them young, you keep the story young with all these young actors and actresses they hired. And so now you appeal to the hero fans, you appeal to a young audience. Because, you know, we go 20-year Batman. He's a veteran, he's grizzled, he's darkened. That's not for the kids. The kids not relating with that. You keep Spider-Man young, you're going to get kids each year, each time you put it out.
And then 10 years, 20 years down the line, they're like, oh man, those movies, I grew up with those movies.
Right.
And that's how it is.
And even if, he won't be in high school probably 10 years from with Tom Holland, he looks that, so I don't know. Well, we don't know if they do, but every generation of kids, you'll keep getting them. And so, like we talked about, didn't see that canon chat yet. But anyway, just the idea of Marvel goes with the lighter tone for that reason, because you get more audience. So I thought it was genius. Like, I don't know, some with heroes, it's just, we kind of expected the time jump. We expect them to have a certain amount of skills next time we see them. And so I think it's smart.
Yeah, so maybe not. Yeah, that would be cool.
And plus, he has so many villains. That's another thing in Worst Spider-Man. He has so many villains that you could each year pop 2 villains in.
Yeah.
And also a small nugget, I don't know if you heard this, but it was apparently leaked by someone that Shocker is going to be in this movie.
Really?
Shocker and Vulture.
He's one of the more
And the
visually
Tinkerer.
pleasing.
So the Tinkerer
Is the guy who makes Vulture stuff.
Yeah, he makes, so in this universe, I guess he makes a lot of the villain stuff.
Okay. So
But he won't be like, in the forefront. So
yeah.
He'll probably be mentioned or you see him once. But Shocker and Vulture.
That's
Love
awesome.
Shocker.
That's
dude.
cool. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. All right. On Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, J.J. Abrams confirmed that Baby Groot, so after Comic-Con, the footage that we didn't get to see, a lot of people saw Baby Groot and they were wondering if he still had the same memories or if this is like a reincarnation or what. Abrams confirmed that yes, he has his memories. He's still Groot. He's just Baby Groot. He's got to grow back up.
Yeah.
But it seems like he'll be Baby Groot most of the movie.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna grow any bigger than when we see him at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Groot being Groot?
Yeah, I thought it. I mean, I get why people would think that. I know you said you didn't really, but I actually was thinking that a couple months ago when we first heard that he was going to be a baby, younger Groot. I don't know if he's a baby yet, or still. But yeah, I think it would have been tough if he wouldn't have remembered who he was or what happened, because then what's the point of having him there for
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. So yeah, I'm just glad, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I never just thought Groot wouldn't remember himself. I mean, he's basically a big tree, so
Yeah.
But yeah, he grows back, whatever gets chopped off. But yeah, so it's confirmed for anybody that was scared. Groot didn't remember his adventures with Rocket Raccoon. That's kind of hard to say.
Rocket Raccoon.
But no, actually, now I think about it, because I haven't seen Guardians in so long, that's really why I kind of feel disconnected from it. But remembering that Raccoon and Groot came into it as partners, they were doing their own thing. So it is good that he remembers everything, because they had memory wiped them. You're going to lose that closeness between those two characters. So, yeah, happy. Now I'm actually going to throw you for a loop real quick. One bit of news we didn't cover is a little older. The rumor that the solo Batman movie will be in Arkham Asylum.
Oh, I thought we did report on it.
We did not.
Didn't.
I would like to know what you think about that.
I think that's awesome. If it takes place from start to finish in Arkham, that's awesome. Because I was just thinking about this. I don't know what we were talking about. Maybe I was just thinking about my own. But any movie that takes place, I think I was talking about Training Day. It takes place in one day, but the story is amazing. So take that and put it into One Night in Arkham. I think that would be.
Release it around Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, The Long Halloween. There you go.
I think it was in October when they put the dates out for the untitled movies. I think one was October.
Okay, so that would be so awesome. The Long Halloween. I mean, something from it. We already, Affleck already said he's borrowing from different stories, so I don't think it will be called The Long Halloween. But yeah, I would love that. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple, and and I think it'll pay off.
Do you have a minimum or maximum of villains that need to be in that movie?
I would love to see 10.
10?
Yes. Maybe not his main adversary, but it's kind of like going through a Joker's funhouse in a way. You kind of got to go from this guy to this guy. It's like a video game. You got to beat this boss to get to that boss, to get to that boss, to get to the main boss. Even just seeing cameos by people will be like, holy shit, we haven't seen them ever. So yeah, that would be awesome, and I hope it's gonna be a one night in Arkham thing.
So I'm actually not too fond of the idea because of what you said. Like a video game, because there is a video game like that, and that's called Arkham Asylum. That's literally what it is. To capitalize on the ferocious fan base of that game, that is a hardcore fan base of the Arkham games. It's smart, I get it, and putting more villains in there, I get it, and the idea is cool, I get it. But back not too long ago, we were promised the greatest detective on earth, the noir story that I was so excited to see.
Story, though.
It's not noir inside of an asylum for one night. He's got to have nights chugging whiskey. I can't figure this out. He's got to, be on the prowl. He's got to go, talk to the movers and shakers in the street.
Yeah.
You can't get that in Arkham. It's like you said, it's a Halloween, it's a fright movie now. It's not really a noir movie. And I'm not saying it's not a good idea. I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just this solo Batman movie, the first one, I want that. I want the Batman animated series in live action.
Well, what I was thinking, what I was thinking of it being an Arkham only one night is that we would not have as much, I don't want to say action, but it wouldn't be like any other movie.
Like a psychological drama?
It'd be more like a psychological drama. There you go, kind of. And I think I wouldn't like that. I think it's refreshing, and I think the whole noir detective story is refreshing too. So I think that's where they're at least heading that way. Either of those ways, they're going away from, the action. Here's Batman fighting everyone and stuff like that. So either way, I think it's going to be different, whether it's a one night Arkham or a noir detective story.
Okay. All right. Are we about to go into the what if world?
Yes, I think there's one. I think we have one what if.
All right.
It's a big one. So let's go. Okay. So Terry, here's your one and only what if for this week. What if after phase whatever it is for Marvel down the line, after 2025, and after DC's phase 2 by that point, what if Warner Brothers and Disney go into talks about having a one-shot movie where both teams meet up? I have no idea what it's about, but we hear this rumor, and it's an official rumor. It's been confirmed rumor that Warner Brothers, Feige and Jeff Johns have met in a back alley to talk terms. What would you say to that?
Okay, so what if? So I'm sitting there. Oh man. So after I go to Best Buy to get a new laptop because I broke the one when I was watching, I flipped it. I would honestly have to temper my expectations. I would be very excited, and I would have to keep reminding myself that I doubt this deal would happen. Because there is too many cooks in the kitchen. Because even with Sony and Marvel, they pretty much said, okay, Marvel, you run it, and we approve what you do. Can you imagine Warner Bros. And Disney trying to work that out?
Yeah.
Who's going to pick the director? Who's going to do all that? But, yeah, so I would just have to keep calming myself down each day. But if I allowed myself to think about the possibility of the movie happening, man, I don't know. Like, that would be, I would honestly want them to figure a way to turn it into either Civil War or Contest of Champions. Like, I think the easiest way, especially in a one shot, is always get some powerful alien that transports everybody and makes them fight or whatever. And if you do a true one-off, like where you can kill people and they're not gonna be dead in the actual,
respective universes.
Then yes, you can imagine Batman just bataranging through some like Captain America's head or something. Dude, Hulk and Superman finally. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sal, what would you do after you go shrieking around?
Well, I would text you a picture or screenshot.
Oh my god.
of the story that I saw on Facebook. You know what? I believe that this might. I'm talking 10 years from now. Might happen. I'm not. They're gonna. I don't know. I just think it would. But if I did hear rumors of it, I think everyone would have to be excited about this. I don't care who you are. You would be like sitting contemplating what the hell you just heard. All the possibilities. And I think I don't even know what I would do. I don't know. I would just have to, I'd call you up first and I would just be like, did you hear? And you probably did. And then we would go over every possibility of what they would do. We would have at least 10 episode minimum of what we think would happen. So
idea number 1, idea number 2.
Exactly. So I don't know. That would be insane. But I'm not against it actually ever happening. I think it would happen once both companies see the end of the tunnel for these superhero movies. I think there's gonna be one. I don't know when. I mean, there's gonna be one, but I'm not so sure that it wouldn't happen.
I mean, to me, okay, after Phase 3 for Marvel, I'm assuming that at some point,
Phase 4.
Phase 4. I'm assuming at some point Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth drop off, and if right now it doesn't look like they're casting. It looks like they're just going to a new group. And so if you're talking about bringing them back after being gone for a phase, I'm on board with that. I don't know how you could keep it secret, but if you could just keep it secret till you show the footage and you hear that Iron Man stuff, Tony's back. Like, can you imagine? People would freak because a phase lasts like what, 3 years? 3-4 years. And so without RDJ, and then he comes back and then you see the ship, the hammer. Oh my god, that would be just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, I tell you what would happen. I would call Sal up, like, Sal, it's not going to happen. And Sal would just be like, there's even a 1% chance that this could be true. We have to take it as absolute certainty.
They are not our enemies.
All right.
Yeah. So that was our what if for this week.
And that was our episode for this week. So Sal, any last thoughts? Where can the people find us?
Check out our Suicide Squad Expectations. We're both going to see it this Thursday. So look out for that. And you can find us on Twitter at The Canon Blog, on Facebook, facebook.com/TheCanon. Terry.
Very nice. Yes, check out that Suicide Squad Expectations. It's going to be fun. Also, Legends of Tomorrow. I'm not done with you. I thought about it. I'm still upset. Son of a... Watch our Comic-Con recap. Know what I'm talking about. But that has been our episode. And if you heard it, here it is, The Canon.